So let's first of all add one small thing, I kind of want to lock my mouse because this is getting a little bit annoying. Okay, now let's fix where we're actually shooting from, because you saw that we hit ourselves a lot, and that will be inside our controller, I believe. No, inside our FPS handler. Handle shooting, have a shooting relay, handle shooting down here. Then our position then should be a little bit forward, so O plus direction, which is the forward of our camera parent, plus D multiplied by, I do like maybe 0.5. 0.5 might be too much, but we'll see. Okay, so this shoots a little bit forward. Now that we have this, let's also do aiming down sights and so on. Okay, and how do we do this? First of all, I kind of want to change my weapon to not be a cube anymore, because it doesn't really make it's going to be annoying, and that's why I put the crosshair in there. So I'm just going to use one of the polygon military. There's also the polygon starter, which is free if you don't want to buy if you don't want to buy packets right now. I'm just going to use, let's use, I don't know, let's use one of these. Let's use this one. So here's the thing, inside a weapon holder, if a weapon is at 000, because I don't want to be saving different locations for idle and aiming down sights, we're going to count it that if a weapon is at 000, then it's on the ADS position. Okay, so that will mean, let's see, 16. I'm moving only the model now, the rest is at 000, maybe 18, 5, 6. I'm not sure if the front should be aiming with this, so I don't know. Anyway, we'll do it like this. I'm going to assume that you're not aiming through. Yeah, we also need to remove the mass collider. Come on. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, we're going to assume that this is the center. You're not following us. Okay, so let's assume this is it. Let's unpack it just to know. I'm going to put the bullet spawn then onto where the bullets will be spawning from. Of course, I'm clicking V so I can center it, something like that. Now, of course, we don't actually want it to be there all the time, like so. So what we're going to do is we're going to create on the weapon holder an idle position. Okay, and then we're going to be giving back an idle with void tick float delta, and we kind of want to know if we're aiming or not. We're going to keep it simple, and if we're not aiming, then that means, well, we're not aiming. Actually, let me think. Let me see one thing. Okay, so we're basically going to let the weapon hook decide where our hand position is going to be. So, and we're going to use a T value for here. Then, if we are aiming, well, first of all, float P1. Actually, no. Let's think this through. We're going to be adding T by delta. So if, well, hand position is going to be vector3 dot lerp between vector3 dot 0 or from idle to idle position. So vector3 dot 0 passed by T. Now if we are aiming, then we're going to be adding, else we're going to be removing. We're going to be clamping then the T to 0 and 1. Okay, so now this will be returning us the tick value. We can also return, I guess we could just return the vector3 as well. Vector3 return. But we might use this for different things for later, yeah. So in the controller, on our FPS handler, side handle shooting, we also have a handle sway. Let's do a handle aiming. So we'll probably also pass the controller just in case. Okay, so vector3 hand position from current weapon dot tick delta is aiming, let's just say false for now. Then this already lerps, so all we have to do is hands or weapon holder local position equals hand position. So all we have to do is this to get it working. But yeah, now that I realize, we also want to be using the different FOVs when aiming. So I'd rather just pass a percentage of where we are with T. So we'll be passing a hands position over here or weapon position over here as this, and simply return the T, because as I said, we might want to be changing the FOV as well. So let's pass the hand position vector3.0. Then all this is going to be referenced, or I think we could just pass the, anyway, reference hand position. Then it changes to hand position, and we also have the percentage for aiming. If we're aiming, we don't have an aiming right now, but we will have in a bit. Okay, so let's assume, I think maybe this weapon needs to move like slightly forward. It looks like it's very close to your face right now. Let's do maybe 6. Yeah, I guess when we start changing the FOV, this will work as well. So Okay, you see that now that we are actually aiming. And yeah, that's annoying because we have our camera going up and down, or not. We have this going up, no? What goes up and down? It is a lot. Yeah, our camera. Okay, let's close this, which now it should not even be here because it should move everything. Otherwise, it's just hard to be aiming. Okay, so we're aiming, and let's fix the idle position then for the weapon. It should be something like let's put it at 0.2 and minus 0.2. Or well, we could just pause it, move this onto the side, and just move the actual weapon, just move it to where we want it to be. You know, this doesn't really matter that much, of course, because we will want to have some actual animations to this. That's kind of ugly. Yeah, so let's move it slightly forward. I'll do something like this. Maybe something like this. I don't know, this is of course something that it's kind of, yeah, depends on your preferences. I guess I'll do this, so that will be minus 11 minus 11. Can just copy the component and paste component values. Okay, the rest will just be the same. And for some reason it's the opposite way now. Anyway, okay, so this is the idle, which is terrible. Maybe move it like so. Okay, so let's do minus 0.15. Anyway, so let's add the aiming then. On our COD-like, for our FPS handler, then we can do is aiming. Let's also add it in here. Public tool is aiming, because we will want to sync that through the network. Is aiming equals input dot get mouse button 1. Okay, then we can simply change the handle aiming from c dot is aiming. Okay, now we do need a different speed, of course, but let's go add it. Weapon hook. Now I'm going to add the public float ADS speed and ADS to idle speed. Okay, so if you have a bigger weapon, you can basically control this to aim faster or slower. But for right now, I'm just going to keep it like so. Doesn't matter. Okay, so there it is. Awesome. And I'll even do even higher areas. Okay, maybe I'll do 5 and then 7. And of course, we could add on the multiplier on the y. 0.1, maybe 0.1 is too much. Okay, change the speed as well. It's all about the gunplay, of course. It's how it's all about feeling, you know. Oops. It's all about making the guns feel nice to play with. I think that does 2 iterations for some reason. Okay. Let's remove this key. Let's make it like so. Iterations 1, speed, I'll do 7. Okay, I think it's something with the one you shoot resets this. So, oops, not this. So when you shoot on the FPS handler, where do we shake the object? We shake it on the current weapon. Yeah, for each shake object we have. How many shake objects do we have? We have 1. Your own. Okay. Well, anyway. Okay, doesn't matter. Actually, it does matter. Maybe we can make it so that if it shakes, maybe we can say if is shaking already, just return. So it doesn't do double shake. But it actually does. What? Yeah, okay, it's -1. Okay, yeah, that's fine. That works fine. Awesome. So let's see how we are on time. We are at 20 minutes. So we now have IDS and aiming. Let's also add the FOV just to have the overall view of it. And let's also say public float ADS FOV. We'll say 40, public float ADS normal. I think ADS normal is probably always the same, but if you want to have a different control per weapon, then you can just do it like so. So on the FPS handler, let's add a reference to the actual camera now. Then once you are aiming, we have the percentage of the aiming, then camera actual field of view equals mathf.lerp current weapon ADS normal, current weapon ADS FOV by the percentage. We have to assign, of course, our camera on our controller, camera actual, and now you will see that it's going to be changing. It's doing the small zoom it does. Awesome. Let's change one more thing. Let's set this back to 0, so it's only doing 1. Now, actually, you know what? Let's remove from the sake what we add. Let's remove this. Doesn't matter. Okay. Now let's add one more thing on the weapon hook. Let's add a particle system. We have a start. We don't have a start. Let's add a start. Particle systems equals get components in children particle system. Okay, then when you're actually shooting, for each item in particle systems, item.play as well. So just like that, simple as that as well, I can just go onto my effects. I can find a bullet ejection, which is not that big, but you know, whatever. Let's maybe make them a bit smaller. So we don't want it looping. We just want one. Start size, let's make it even smaller. Even smaller. I think they passed the other way. No. It does rotate the correct way. Okay. Then let's see, simulation space world, delta time scaled, save, play on awake, no. Max particles, okay. Then let's also add the smoke gunshot. Let's say gunshot repeating. No, we don't want the gunshot repeating, we just want the gunshot. Move it to the front, like so. Okay, now one thing I do want to check is also remove play on awake on both of these. Okay, it's removed, and I think I kind of want to make this be a little bit less visible. I don't know how it will do this. Maybe like so. Yeah, I don't want the smoke basically. So now everything, every particle that is underneath my weapon will also play once we're aiming. Okay, so maybe play with the particle to see a little bit. Maybe play with this just so that you can actually see it afterwards. Maybe the flash, just leave this at 1. But yeah, that's not bad, yes. Okay, and of course just tailor the weapon to what you want. Over here you change the fire rate. For example, I'll probably change this to 0.1. Now we're talking. Okay, awesome. So we pretty much have an FPS right now. Okay, so let's end the part over here, and then on the next one we're actually going to add some, TPS parts, and we're going to start filtering out. We want to create items. We want to create a lot of things actually before we even touch the multiplayer. So we want to have equipment and all that. And of course we need to be counting ammo, all these things. Awesome. So let's finish this part and then we'll see what we do on the next one. I'll see you on the next part.